Relax and let me tell you a story in the quietest way.
Is it possible for a dead woman to name her own killer? Police in Chicago didn't think so until 1977. This is the chilling true story of Teresita Basa, a woman whose murder case went completely cold until she literally possessed the body of her coworker to scream out the name of the man who took her life. This is the only case in history where a ghost's testimony actually led to a conviction. In the winter of 1977, in the windy city of Chicago, a horrifying discovery was made inside an apartment at 2740 North Pine Grove Avenue that baffled detectives and left the community in a state of paralyzed fear. The victim was Teresita Basa, a quiet and dedicated Filipino respiratory therapist who was found brutally stabbed to death under a burning mattress in a crime scene that offered absolutely no physical evidence, no witnesses, and no suspects. The police were at a dead end, ready to file the case as unsolved, until strange things began happening to a woman named Remy Chua, a co-worker of Teresita, who barely knew her outside of the hospital. In Remy's mind, she began having terrifying nightmares of a man's face and would wake up sobbing in terror. But the horror escalated when she started slipping into trance-like states where her voice would completely change, shifting from her own tone to the distinct, accented voice of the dead woman, Teresita Basa. During these chilling sessions, while Remy's husband watched in disbelief, the voice speaking through Remy claimed, "I am Teresita," and she began to recount the details of her own murder with impossible accuracy, revealing that a man named Alan Showery, an orderly at the hospital who had visited her to fix her TV, was the one who killed her. The voice screamed that Alan had stabbed her and then stolen her jewelry, specifically a pearl ring and a locket, before setting the fire to cover his tracks. Remy's husband, terrified but convinced, took this supernatural testimony to the detectives, who were naturally skeptical and laughed at the idea of a ghost solving a homicide. But desperate for a lead, they decided to investigate Alan Showery. When they brought him in, he appeared innocent and calm. But the detectives decided to check his girlfriend's apartment based on the ghost's tip about the stolen jewelry. And in a moment that froze the blood of every officer involved, they found the exact pearl ring and locket that the voice had described. Faced with the undeniable physical evidence that came from a source that shouldn't exist, Alan Showery broke down and confessed to the murder, confirming every single detail that the voice had screamed through Remy. To this day, The murder of Teresita Basa remains one of the most unsettling cases in criminal history because it forces us to ask a question we are too afraid to answer. Was it just a coincidence, or did Teresita Basa really come back from the dead to ensure that the man who took her breath away would never breathe free air again?